Boom. We are alive, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be going over Link's technical price and market analysis today. For those of you that do not know, ChainLink is an oracle that provides data, real-world data and timing to help provide a more secure, basically line of communication between these blockchains. It's a very valuable resource. It's offering something a little bit different than most of the other cryptocurrencies. And because of that, we're going to dive right in and take a look at the price charts today. We're seeing something very frequently show up, and boom, there it is, ChainLink, again on the 6 hour. And you probably recognize already that this is a very similar pattern now. So here again is our horizontal trading range, primary support, buying climax, or shakeout, or secondary tests. Now this is always an interesting part here. This is what a lot of people got wrong about Bitcoin too, was this phase C spring. Just in general, this area, this particular part of a reaccumulation pattern can often be confusing because it looks like it turns into distribution, right? And Bitcoin was a primary indicator of this. And we saw this here. We'll use Bitcoin on the 6 hour right now. This moment here, a lot of people were calling, a lot of big YouTubers were calling this distribution. And it was clearly not. I think there's just the lack of supply signature at the bottom of the chart here that would have indicated an upthrust, but we didn't get that. We only saw what I believe to be a spring. And now, after a spring, you usually get what's called a test. So we could test the $52,000 to $53,000 area, but it seems less and less likely now as we're holding above in this pennant. I do suspect that we get a break above the pennant and then very quickly we're on our way to 69,000. So what that's going to do for Link, and what I want to compare here, is this phase C movement. So right now we're actually in phase E. We are in the breakout pattern for Link. And one of the things I wanted to do today, for those of you that are in the private group, you'll have been following along with a lot of these horizontal trading ranges. You'll understand the value. But for those of you that that are new or wanting to learn more about technical analysis, there's two really key parts that we look at in these ideas. First off is the architecture of this horizontal trading range, and then the definitions of our supply signature down at the bottom. So one of the really important parts here is recognizing the spring and the upthrust signature. So here we're going to make a really clear distinction between both of those. So the spring was noticed by these two large areas of sell climax that came in, bang, bang, here and here. Now what's unique, again, is recognizing the idea of effort versus result. If you are a fan of this channel, we have gone over this quite frequently, but what it means is the amount of supply coming into the market and the result of that supply coming into the market's effect on price. So the price spread, or the distance of the price moving up or down in any particular percentage based off the amount of supply that's come in. Now here on our SOS, which is a beautiful signal that we're going higher, and I believe this is kind of the last little exciting part of the bull market. It's where all the faces get melted, is where the very final last people who didn't get in finally get in, even your grandma's getting in. But this signature here and the price spread is increased, right? So we can actually measure here around 23% for this particular volume signature. And here, these two volume signatures at currently 33%. So we're getting a significantly increased price spread from supply signature. And that's really, really important because it gives us the sign of strength, or the SOS, that we are looking for. Now, generally, this moment is what we call the backup phase. So we chart it here with BU as a backup phase. It is part of the SOS. So we get our sign of strength, and then we get the backup phase. And the backup phase is often a small horizontal trading range that accumulates for a few days, maybe a few weeks, depending on the volatility of the market. Because of how far we are into this market cycle, I do suspect these accumulations will probably be fairly short-lived, and then they will continue to grow up. So one of the last things we're going to leave today's episode off with is just a price kind of analysis of Link on the long term. So I wanted to use Link as an example today because it goes over a few things, especially in our retrospective study, that are so important, which is here. Here we are back in January 2020. The price was down at $2, basically. March 11th, when they declared the pandemic, we are up approximately 28x. So Link from March to today has outperformed Bitcoin by almost 2 times. which is extraordinarily powerful. And again, remember, this is a unique functioning part of this ecosystem. So it brings a lot of value to the table. But more importantly, what we want to do is actually use this whole area right now to measure out our Fibonacci extension or retracement tool. And if you've been a fan of the Bear family for quite some time, you'll recognize this. I use this as my kind of last moment to measure the market cycles. We very easily get to the 1618 and the 2618. So I think we very easily get to about $100, $110, potentially as a finality of part of the bull market in general by August to November. That's my guess. Now, we have seen more explosive moves in the mid-range of the bull market, but they usually do not extend past the 4236 or the 3618. As we get up to the $120 area for Link, these final extensions at $140 and $160 become significantly harder to get to. But it is important to remember that the entire time Bitcoin was going through a general reaccumulation cycle, Link actually continued its bull market run at 2017 and 2018. So very valuable to understand that Link has brought a lot of value to the table, and it will continue to accrue that. But this moment, when we're midway through the bull market, getting past the 2618 is usually pretty difficult. Although, mind you, a lot of people are at home, not working, have very little else to do, and are for the first time learning how to trade or invest. So we might get these further extensions, but these are much riskier to have aims at, right? So our primary entries here were made around $11. If you go back, most of our entries were made in December, January on these secondary assets. When I started to pick up more that were not in my general portfolio and making just a broader spectrum investment thesis. So we've seen great gains of around 4x so far. But again, remember, we're already 3,000% up since March. Right? So that's a lot of movement upwards in a very short period of time. And to go higher, again, it gets a lot harder. I'm going to say around $100, $120 as my finality top for Link this cycle before we see another reaccumulation drop through the bear market and again, probably consistently move higher. Link brings a lot to the table. It is one of the only Oracle chains out there that is functioning at scale today. So I do believe it is very important. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us on today's update on Link's price. If you are new to the channel, please remember to go to the links down below, whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, or where we are right now. Please subscribe to us on YouTube and hit that little bell so anytime we go live, you will be notified. I'm going to start doing more of these just one-off single token interpretation videos. So if there's something you'd like me to go over, leave those in the comments down below. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notified, all those fun things. And yeah, thank you guys all for joining us on another quick update with the Arcane Bear. We're going to leave you off like we have been doing with the view of the jungle. So I hope you enjoy.